Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pull here, bringing you another game of StarCraft 2. Today's match is going to be between the one and the only Flash, who is the blue Terran at the top right, and KawaiiRice spawning as the red Terran at the bottom left. Now, we're not for sure if this is actually Flash. We're about 90% sure, as it is the same account that was used in the FP VOD that was uploaded by GTR the other day on Team Liquid. And as we see here, KawaiiRice saying Flash question mark, so it's very likely indeed that it's Flash. A lot of his hotkeys are the same, and I'll actually post a link to that FP VOD just so you guys can see for yourselves. Either way, this game is going to be super good, as KawaiiRice is an incredible player himself. Now, we are for sure that it's Kawhi, as this is his, I believe it's Chinese letters account, so that's for certain, but like I said, we're not for sure if it's Flash. But anyways, I'm really excited to see how it does turn out, to see what kind of builds and stuff that Flash goes for, see if perhaps he knows some different timings already than we do, who have been playing for well, I know that I've been playing StarCraft 2 since beta, so we'll see if he's already better than me. Actually, I'm just kidding. I know that he's better than me. He's Flash. I mean, come on. And actually, for those of you that don't know who Flash is, he is a Brood War pro, and he is like the best StarCraft player in the world. He's probably the most famous. Close to Slayer's Boxer. I don't know about as far as fame goes, but as far as skill goes, he is most certainly the best. He is the bonjour. Basically, if you have him in a tournament, you might as well leave because he's gonna own your face. He's just that good. He's just so good at StarCraft. He practices so hard. And we'll see how he does in StarCraft 2. I'm really excited to see what kind of results he does give us. Now, we do see KawaiiRice going ahead and getting his gas here, so likely that he'll be doing a Reaper expand, possibly a Banshee opening, something like that, but I think it's quite likely that he will be going for Reapers, as that is pretty standard these days, especially on the Asian servers for StarCraft 2. Now, as far as what Flash is going for, he actually did get that command center at 14, I do believe, so going for the typical Flash's 14 CC, getting that fast expansion down, and of course getting his racks here. He will need to follow that up with some more Raxes, though, or possibly gas, which it doesn't actually look like he's going for gas, and instead is trying to get a Rax down here, but KawaiiRice is just going to continue to try to block that. There we go. Flash just managed to get down his barracks. Now, as far as what KawaiiRice is going for, he's going for that Reaper, like I said. So we'll be able to get some scouting information off on Flash. We'll see how Flash does handle it. He should be able to get enough Marines out in time. Hopefully he'll be able to deal with the Reaper, as Reapers do take quite a while to get finished, although this one is almost finished, so hopefully Flash will be able to get enough out here to deal with that. Now, we do see Flash finally going ahead and getting his orbital command at the same time, finishing up this command center, and will he get an orbital on that or just produce some SCVs? He does instead go for the orbital, and KawaiiRice is moving out with this Reaper. Now, we do see, interestingly enough, Flash going ahead and positioning his Marine close to his command center, which is exactly where you want it when you're afraid that a Reaper is going to be coming out here. At the same time, KawaiiRice does have an SCV at the expansion, and the Reaper is coming up here to where the SCV is, so he's going to be looking for any workers that have been produced. Doesn't see any. And Flash does have 2 Marines right now. If KawaiiRice can micro successfully and efficiently, he will be able to handle Flash, but there are 3 Marines, and that should be enough to deal with the Reaper and SCV. We do see KawaiiRice picking up 1 kill right there, and Mike around does manage to actually get 2, so KawaiiRice doing a little bit of the economic damage, trying to even out where he got his expansion a little bit later. Now, we do see that Reaper possibly going down. It does manage to escape with 2 HP. Of course, the SCV did go down, and Flash has more than enough Marines to deal with the Reapers that are incoming. We do see, once again, another Reaper coming up here for KawaiiRice, and he's going to see those Marines that will be able to manage to micro back. Now, he does have those 2 Reapers, like I said, and the 2 Marines up here for Flash. Will they be able to handle these Reapers? He needs to focus down the almost dead one, but instead focus down the one that had full health. That's a little bit unfortunate, and now we can see him losing some work. Is going to delay his gas just a little bit. KawaiiRice, of course, retreating, as he really can't handle anything else. Any more shots, even from an SCV, would completely take him out. Now, we do see another Rax being added on. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake, actually. That Rax was being added on, but Flash is not actually finished building it, so I guess he's just not used to that happening in StarCraft 2. We do see KawaiiRice, of course, going for 1 more Rax here, so he's up to 4 Raxes, and he's adding on 3 reactors, so going to be seeing a lot of Marines produced for KawaiiRice. At the same time, he is getting his stim pack research and getting the 1 attack upgrade. Now Flash is just kind of sticking to Marines. He's not actually getting any upgrades. He doesn't have an engineering bay, and instead is just producing Marines out of these racks. He's up to about 400 minerals, so a little bit too much macro here. I don't know if he has something in mind. If perhaps he wants to go for another expansion, or if he wants to add on a bunch of bunkers or something like that. But he's macroing a little bit ineffectively here. But we do see, of course, that 47 supply versus the, well, what was 41, but never mind, KawaiiRice, now that these reactors are finished, has managed to buff himself up, and Flash getting a scan off, so effectively using his scans like he should. Of course, scans are from Brood War. They were, of course, in that game. Mules are the things that are different, but we do see Flash dropping down a mule right here. Will he go ahead and drop down some more mules? Yep, he did drop down the other one. So Flash is very well accustomed to StarCraft 2 by now, and of course he would be. He's like the most amazing gamer in the entire world. I doubt that just a few changes to StarCraft would really hold him back all that much, and I'm just so scared to see what he does in a professional setting. We do see Flash here adding on a reactor to his factory as well as getting a starport, so he is prepared to go ahead and switch into a medevac transition. At the same time, his sim pack is not finished. He does have a bunker, so his scan was really effective. He was able to kind of see that KawaiiRice had a bunch of Marines and that he was going to be a little bit vulnerable here. And KawaiiRice is moving out across the map with these Marines here. Going to go ahead and take control of that Xel'Naga watchtower, which Flash really probably should have, but that's okay. He's just fine the way he is. With the bunker, he should be okay, and we see these 3 Marines right here. They're like, I am not going to get taken out by 2 Reapers again. I got this, so there's an extra Marine there this time. Of course, the 2 Reapers that are here for KawaiiRice are very low on HP and probably won't be able to do anything, like I said, except for just to add some hopeful DPS to this composition. We do see one of them actually going down here, and KawaiiRice losing a little bit of health there. Did not even lose a Marine, though, so he's going to be okay. But we do see Flash, now that he's got his medevacs, is pushing out here with this Marine, so deciding to take the aggression and not be so defensive. Of course, this Marine will go down for KawaiiRice, and Flash really impressed here that he's not just continuing to turtle up and is actually pushing KawaiiRice onto a bit of a defensive position. Of course, we do see Kawhi here, once again, at that Xel'Naga watchtower, trying to kind of decide what he wants to do and where he needs to go. Probably is scouting for medevacs to see if Flash is going to go for a drop. We do see him moving around with a lot of Marines. Can't really split him up too much, as if he does get caught with his army split, you know, he'll lose a lot of stuff, because you essentially need big groups of units to take on big groups of units. If you have a big one versus a small one, he's just going to get taken out. So we do see Flash adding on some tanks here, as well as getting, whoop, yep, just now getting siege check. In fact, did not have it researched when I looked over there, but is going to go ahead and get that. Whereas KawaiiRice says he actually have any tanks. Let's look at the units tab. Doesn't have any tanks quite yet. He is just now starting to research siege tech, and yeah, there we go. He is producing his tanks. Now, looking at the upgrades real quick, we do see a 1 attack upgrade for Kawhi and 1 attack for Flash, so both these players are pretty even. Both of them do have a stim, but hold that thought. We do see an engagement going on here. KawaiiRice feeling like he has enough units to attack up the high ground versus the tank and many medevacs and Marines of Flash, and kind of surprised that Kawhi is doing this. He is getting some pretty good positioning here, but will Flash be able to hold? I do think he will be able to. He does have a ton of medevacs, and now if he can get the medevacs of Kawhi, that would be so huge if he could get that one there. Oh, that would have been so huge. That just did have a few Marines inside of it. Now we do see Flash coming around here to where the 3rd would be of KawaiiRice, and actually looking at the base, we do see a 3rd command center, by the way, being produced for KawaiiRice. So he's trying to get into this economy game. He sees that he's behind and wants to get caught back up. But will Flash actually go for a drop? If he goes for a drop, that would be so huge, as KawaiiRice really can't intercept it. But instead, we see an engagement coming on here as Flash does come up here. 1 tank does get siege for KawaiiRice, but Flash does not siege his tanks. Does he have siege check? He does indeed have siege check. He needs to siege up his tanks to deal with these mini Marines and SCVs. Of course, Flash does manage to take out another tank of KawaiiRice, and his supply lead is so great. He will unfortunately lose the tank that is right here. He has not lost his medevac, so that is very good and important. Will he lift off the tank? He does not lift it off, and I'm afraid that he will lose another one. Does KawaiiRice retreat? No. We do see Flash coming up here with the reinforcements that he does need at the same time, rallying over some more units, but not going to use them to do any damage quite yet. We do see KawaiiRice adding on another gas, which is of course going to be important for him to get medevacs and tanks out. This game. Flash still not taking his third base, so kind of surprised that he's not done that. And we can see him up to about 600 something minerals right there. Of course, he is using them pretty effectively. And actually looking at his barracks, he is producing out of every single Rex, and he's using the multiple building selections. So super glad that he's doing that. Although we do see him using factory and starport in different hotkeys, so a little bit different. I don't know if that's actually more effective or less effective, but hold that thought. Not another, but a huge drop coming in here for Flash. He does have a ton of Marines and tanks. He does siege up one tank. There's only, I believe, one tank out here for Flash, but he does have a ton of Marines. Like I said, gonna deny that mining for KawaiiRice. KawaiiRice is gonna be forced to pull all of his SCVs and Marines to deal with this. Flash is gonna have a little bit of a difficult time cleaning up all this, and it does look like KawaiiRice will manage to deal with Flash's army quite effectively. Of course, he does only take out one medevac, so still really good by Flash. At the same time, he was doing another engagement over here, and KawaiiRice actually had to pull all of those SCVs to deal with that. Of course, he was able to manage to push Flash back for the time being, but God, look at the supplies. Flash is up to 127 right now. Kawhi is at 71. Kawhi is very, very far behind, regardless of the fact that he does have that third command center. Now, we do see Flash managing to get his command center up here. And just a bit of a statement from the FPV VOD that I saw of Flash that's on Team Liquid. He does seem to emphasize, at least in TvT, going for the third base and pretty much denying it. But oh, hold that thought again. We see a tank getting some good splash damage off on these Marines, and Flash needs to go snipe that if he can. He does have the medevacs for the vision, but instead is just taking out the tanks that are on the low ground. Kind of surprised that he's not dealing with that. I don't know if that's just a mistake in his micro, if he's not used to the game or what, but he does pull back one tank, doesn't want to lose that, and really lose a medevac. Oh my God, I almost lost that one medevac. It's at 2 HP. We do see him sieging up, of course, another tank here to deal with any possible Marines that were left there or trying to attack into him. But like I was saying, Flash seems to really emphasize taking out the third base of his opponent, at least in the only other game that I've seen. And of course, this game you can see that he really doesn't want Kawhi to get that third up and running. He delayed his third so that he could delay his opponent's third and, in a sense, take his own third. But anyways, looking at the upgrades real quick, we do see 1-1 for Flash and 2 attack being researched for Kawhi. Actually, no, that's 2 attack actually being researched for Flash, whereas Kawhi does have 2-2 indeed, so he's a little bit ahead on the upgrades. Flash will, of course, need to catch up. He is researching both 2 attack and 2 armor, so he'll probably be able to catch up to KawaiiRice. Of course, Kawhi could get his 3-3 right now, although his economy is not exactly in the best of shape, so that might, in fact, be why he's not choosing to get those upgrades. Now, we do see Flash taking the position in the middle of the map. He does finally get control of that Zelnaga Watchtower, and actually the other Zelnaga Watchtower, so really good there by Flash. And Kawhi is going to come up here with some Marines to try to take that vision back, but Flash will be able to hold on to it, giving KawaiiRice a little bit of an idea of what kind of composition Flash does have as far as how many medevacs and whatnot goes. And we can see here, looking at the units tab actually, exactly, there are 11 medevacs. Wow, that is so many medevacs for Flash, and only 3 actually were out there for Kawhi. And real quickly get the workers killed. Oh my God, that's 31 for Flash. And of course, that was just due to the huge drop that he did in the main base by KawaiiRice. Flash is just doing an excellent job this game. His macro is impeccable, and wow, look at this. He delayed his third, but was able to get his 4th before his opponent. So Flash doing an excellent job, teaching me a ton of lessons about how to play TvT. I am so impressed by Flash, and he's just, God, he's surpassed me. Of course, I'm not even that good. He's just surpassed so many players, and oh, accidentally killing his own medevac. A little bit of a mistake there by Flash. Oh, that's actually hilarious. But anyways, we do see KawaiiRice over here. He does have an orbital command, does not have that planetary fortress, only has a couple of tanks for defense. He does have two tanks for defense at his main base, but there are more tanks for Flash. And like I said, his macro is just impeccable. Now, it looks like he's waiting for his 2-2 to finish. Maybe he'll go for an attack, or maybe he's just waiting to catch his opponent out of position. Now, we do see Marines trying to get some vision there, but there's no way. Flash has the middle of the map on lockdown. He's doing such a good job, and just having a good game sense and good positioning. But we do see KawaiiRice coming out here with an attack. He does have all of his forces and is wanting to possibly go for a flank. Now, will he be able to get into good position? We do see a stem there by Flash before he actually needed it. And these tanks are sieged up, so it's going to be really hard for Flash to push into that. But instead, Flash realizing that he can easily flank his opponent, KawaiiRice realizing what's happening right here. And KawaiiRice should be able to have a better conclave right here if he pulls his reinforcements down. But Flash sieging up all of his tanks, and the tanks of KawaiiRice are really far behind. They're not even in position at all to deal with Flash's stuff. Now, Flash doesn't come up here to deal damage to this third base, does manage to take it out, and KawaiiRice is stuck here in the small position, lost so many Marines right there. He does have his tanks, and he actually had a medevac worth of Marines, so he was not even using that entire fight. Now Flash is just dealing damage with these Marines, leaving his tanks behind, but is going to go up here to where KawaiiRice is and catch him before he can manage to take out the fourth base. Flash is not even worried about this fourth place as all he needs to do is a move, and that's exactly what he's doing, not even sieging up any tanks right now. KawaiiRice losing all of his units, and oh my god, KawaiiRice with the GG god, realizing that this is very well Flash indeed. Like I said, it's not for certain, but it is quite likely, and that, my ladies and gentlemen, was just the beginnings of what we're going to see. Flash, brand new to StarCraft 2, already taking out pros like KawaiiRice who have been playing since the beta. I am so impressed. Guys, I will do my best job to find as many replays by Flash as I possibly can do. I hope that you enjoyed this, guys. This is Pull, and feel free to check out my stream every now and then. It's twitch.tv/PullSC. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/PullSC. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later.